Hello, I'm Monica, and welcome to this educational video exploring Elsa's struggle with shame. This video will address how Elsa's shame developed, how it manifested itself in her adult life, and ways that it could have been dealt with in a clinical setting. In a 2011 article in the Journal of Social Work and Practice, Jim Walker suggests that the origins of shame are seated when the attunement between a parent and a child are ruptured for a substantial amount of time, leading to feelings of fear and shame. This basically means that when the parent no longer connects to the needs of the child, there is a rift in the relationship. This can be related to Elsa's story because after hurting her sister, she becomes isolated from the world around her and begins to fear herself. In a 2011 article on post-traumatic shame, John Wilson also cites that shame-proneness seems to have trauma-like origins in early negative rearing experiences. Experiences like shaming, abandonment, rejection, emotional negligence, or emotional control. You might remember that Elsa's parents gave her the mantra, conceal, don't feel, don't let it show. These early experiences become the foundation for self-belief, and the internalization of being shamed can lead to globally self-condemning evaluations. In the Frozen scenario, Elsa would condemn herself because she was not able to keep her sister safe, and she feels like she should have been able to, despite the fact that Elsa was not fully culpable for Anna's injury. These self-beliefs and attributions that come from internalizing shame can lead to deep concerns about personal integrity, a need to cope with disgrace, and dishonor. There is also a sense of powerlessness that comes with shame that when applied to Elsa's story creates an interesting dichotomy. Elsa has extraordinary powers, but she feels a sense of powerlessness because she's unable to control her magic. Thus, she experiences a loss of self-continuity. How can she be a good person when she also freezes everything around her, including her sister? Elsa's unable to reconcile that her powers are an integral part of herself, nor is she able to get rid of them. Thus, she continues to remain withdrawn even after her parents die. We now come to part 2 in the video, in which we look at how Elsa's behavior was shaped by shame. Her dissociative tendencies are characteristic of someone with shame, and she engages in safety behaviors throughout the movie. For example, withdrawal, detachment, self-imposed exile, psychic numbing, and non-confrontation with others. All of these things are beautifully demonstrated in Elsa's flight from Arendelle and her stay in the ice castle. After Anna challenges Elsa at the ball, Elsa attempts to retreat. However, when she's further pressed by her sister, she experiences a brief burst of rage that exposes her powers. Elsa then flees into self-imposed exile, and even when Anna finally gets to the castle, Elsa continues to attempt to avoid confrontation. Throughout the entire reprise of First Time and Forever, Elsa is walking away from Anna and frequently uses defensive body language. We now come to the third and final portion of the video, which explores clinical approaches to Elsa's struggle with shame. We'll very briefly look at reintegrative shaming, self-compassion, and writing exercises. In reintegrative shaming therapy for Elsa, people involved in the incident, like her families and the trolls, might express how terrible Elsa was to hurt her sister, but then explain that Elsa is valuable to them and that they love her regardless. The key aspect here is the reintegration that would get Elsa to accept herself. But it could definitely be confusing and stressful for young Elsa to be shamed and then suddenly receive compassion directly after being told she was bad. Perhaps reintegrative guilting would work better, so that the mistake is emphasized as being bad, but Elsa still feels like she can be a good person. If self-compassion training was implemented, then Elsa could be instructed on how she is included in the human experience of making mistakes, and that she can be kind to herself. The mindfulness aspect of self-compassion would help her acknowledge her thoughts and be better attuned to what makes her powers flare. Alternatively, Elsa could be asked to participate in a writing exercise where she could write vulnerably about a traumatic experience for 15 minutes, focusing deeply on her feelings to give herself a different understanding of the traumatic event in her life that caused the shaming. This could be augmented by the therapist suggesting that she write self-compassionately towards herself as well, thereby combining two strategies. I hope that by watching this clip you deepened your understanding of shame and Frozen, and that you learned something that you can apply to your own life.
Loves will help.